No.
Hello, everybody. Zero interest.
Yeah.
What is it? 8? 8.
Episode 8, Iron
8.
Hammer.
Kaiji. 8.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm feeling a lot better about the show after this episode because things started to make more sense and I started to get the things that I wanted, which is nice.
A little bit more sense, but
Yeah. I'm not saying everything makes complete sense, but there's now an explanation that I can think of. For why he didn't go straight for Ando, or not Ando, but go straight for Funai, was because he wanted to essentially get rid of everybody else who Funai could possibly try to trick or scam, and which he did. And then X was the person who flushed their cards down the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
So Funai was left with literally no hope. And then they could end up taking 5 stars from him. Which we find out in this episode, he needed 4 stars to actually make it through since he's a repeater. So he survives.
Yeah, there's a lot of mental gymnastics you have to do about the card numbers and whether they're odd or even and such, but it kind of makes sense if you really, 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 really analyze it. But I can entirely understand them dropping those 20 paragraphs of exposition to explain it all. Because they probably would have had to just abjectly fucked someone over if they had just... Like, they would have had to face... No, they could have gotten away with it by just facing Funai and fuck everyone else. But they would have had to fuck everyone else, I guess. And it would seem like they would have options, maybe? I don't know.
It was a way to give, I guess, the other people a chance to get out. But, because that's all it was chance. It didn't matter whether they won or lost it, because they were still going to try to get 5 stars from...
Yeah, I mean, if they had just gone for Funai, he would have argued until the cows come home, which is to say when it was less than a minute left to go. And he would have had literally no choice. And at that point, they wouldn't have had time to deal with all of their cards anyway.
Yeah, so I guess it makes sense. And they would have ended up with...
like I say, 20 paragraphs of exposition to explain why it made kind of sense. Yeah, they needed to cut that.
But they also had 68 cards if they would have just dealt with Funai once, and then they would have had enough to just draw it out. Like, they had 69 cards, they would have had 68 cards if they played one round with Funai, and then they would have been able to just go.
Here's the thing. If they would
have run out of time.
They would have had to play against Funai, who had a rock. They had paper, but they had 34 paper.
Yeah. Okay.
So but that would have ended up being odd, and that they would have had to play a game where someone lost.
So essentially, we're kind of trapped in a situation where, I guess, Kaiji ends up...
20 paragraphs of exposition, yes. We pretty much just gone through them, though, in fairness. So
there's a lot of exposition and mental gymnastics you have to do for this to make sense, but I'm glad that that's there because it means that the writer really thought about it.
Yeah.
So, and that's impressive.
Turns out, in fact, there was no simple solution, even with the one that we kind of thought we came up with. No, there is no simple solution to this scenario.
So, I would say my bad, but like I think it's a reasonable assumption to make at first.
Yeah.
So, my bad, I guess, for not giving the show more credit, I guess, than it deserves. So, basically,
good job, writer-san, I guess.
Yeah, good job. There was so basically, Kaiji comes to the realization of I'm going to lose. I'm going to fall. I'm going to take all these cards with me, losing 1 round, no cards left. You guys buy like stars and just give them to me, or just like in the buyback period, you can give me the stars and we can be free.
Yep.
Because we have enough stars that you guys could just literally give me stars and I could get out of here.
Yep.
And yeah, we're good. So he gets taken away, has to strip, and then gets into the room on the other side of the one-way mirror, where there's a bunch.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah, with a bunch of naked men, and it's the sad flabby room, and
yeah, okay,
the room of sad flab. And so he's in the room of sad
where
flab.
Everyone is super, super flaccid in every possible way. Yeah.
So he, there's a guy there who's sitting near the mirror. He's like, "Hey, you waiting for somebody to get you out too? Come here, get a VIP spot." And so he goes to the edge of the room of sad flab and sits next to this guy who's, I'm going to keep calling it that, who has a bunch of money in his hand. And he's like, yeah, so, I'm a repeater. This is kind of what happens, Then Kaiji's like, oh, yeah, so he just knocks on the glass and that can determine what card the person has. So this is a repeater trick.
Yeah, they talked about doing this before with another guy who we didn't see, who's the guy with the glasses. Not and he's like, guy with the glasses, but a guy with the glasses. Yeah.
He's like, my friend will get me out of here. And I immediately said, no. He's not. No, you get played because it's so easy to play somebody, and the other guy with the money explains, yeah, unless you have money like me or some treasure out there buried out there in the world, that's your passport.
Or own something out there in the world. Let's be real with that.
You got to have some way to entice the people to let you out.
Yeah, and
so reminder: Kaiji gave everybody money so that nobody would be tempted to try to he doesn't have any of his money. He gave them his money.
Yep.
So Kaiji has nothing. And the buyback period starts, whereas Glasses guy is freaking out and depressed. Because he literally...
His guy is not actually there for the buyback period. He went upstairs at the first opportunity to have a beer with the other winners.
Yeah. So Furuhara goes and he's like, okay, him and Ando immediately get swarmed because they have the most stars out of all the 1 and 2 star people.
Before the buying starts, Furuhara is like, hey, we want to buy back someone, and I forget what his name is, but he's actually really important, and I forgot what his name is. It begins with a T. Mr. T is like, yeah, that's fine. You guys with the extra stars, you can absolutely buy someone else. You have extra stars. So, yeah, you want to use those extra stars that you have, you can absolutely use those extra stars to go and buy that guy over there if you really, really want to.
With your extra stars.
Yeah, so the buying period will start now. Cue them getting swarmed immediately.
Like, okay. If we sell one star, that will get everybody placated and we can go and buy Kaiji.
Yeah.
So they sell 1 star for 5 million, and Furuhara runs over while Ando's looking at the money, and Furuhara's like, okay, yes, I'll take that puppy in the window, and yeah, the really sad looking one.
Wags, but they don't have the camera on it.
Yeah. And we get the establishing character moment that I really felt was needed to differentiate them, because Anda's a dick.
Mm-hmm.
And so Anda's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna give you my stars.
Wow, in fairness, you kind of did get a establishing character moment for him very, very early on, which was him immediately turning around and trying to fuck them over as soon as he got a chance.
But we haven't gotten that for a while.
We haven't, but now we have consistency in that character.
Yes. So now that we have consistency, that character is more established, and I like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hate him. I hated his guts, his big fat guts. But the fact that he decides to turn on them in the last moment instead of just doing the same exact thing as Furuhara helps to establish them more, and especially when Furuhara is doing being different from everybody else in that room, in that he was like, I trust my friend. I'm going to get my friend out of there. You're a good guy, Furuhara. You're dumb, but you're a good guy.
Yeah. But
And
ish. Bear in mind, he's still the reason that Kaiji's in the situation in the first place. But
he's
yeah.
well intentioned in this moment.
Yeah.
And then the episode pretty much ends with Kaiji on the line being like, oh, no. This they use an image multiple times of a lighthouse and people trying to get through the water to the lighthouse.
Yeah,
like
people drowning, and then Ando and Furuhata are on the dock, and Furuhata's reaching out to him, and it's like, he's saved, and then it cuts to Ando being a piece of shit.
I was expecting to get that image again, but Ando pushes Furuhata off, or like smacks his hand away.
Slapping the hand away, yeah. That's what I was expecting, but instead we just get Kaiji being washed away by the waves.
Yeah, the currents. And so there's also a thing with Funai being dragged down by the zombies of the dead.
Yeah, that was cool. I think that was in the previous episode. No? That was in this episode.
No,
yeah, that was
in this episode.
A lot happens in this episode.
These episodes are getting more and more packed. I think I'm going to bring this back up to a 9 because of that, and because of the somewhat explanation we got of like, we had to kind of
the explanation is there, but you have to look for it, and the fact that they didn't put the explanation in there actually makes sense because it is so fucking dense that they would have to do it. It totally makes sense them not putting all that, just dragging down the pacing by throwing all that in there. It would have been terrible.
Yeah. So I am perfectly okay with the series again. I just was like, there's a long period of time in which Furuhara and Ando became the same character. And like, there were some subtle differences, like Furuhara was always the first to figure out Kaiji's stuff.
But also the more panicky one, probably.
Yeah, but also the more panicky one. But Ando didn't have much of a character.
He didn't really have anything. Every now and again, he would get angry at Kaiji's plans and think that Kaiji was trying to screw them over or something. That would be more his side of their shtick. That's pretty much all you got, though. And the whole screwing them over at every opportunity thing, that too.
So there's more. It's not like, it's not necessarily more of what
they're massively developed characters, but they're functional.
Yeah. They're now more functional characters, I feel, because of what happened. But they're not really complete, if that makes sense. They're not really like, I would call them full-on characters still, but they're more characters than they were.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good job, Kaiji. Good job.
Good job for showing Kaiji. Not Kaiji the character you fuck up.
Not Kaiji the character. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Again, I really like the soundtrack. The animation's really nice because I just love the stylistic approach they take to it. I really don't have anything else to really comment on this episode, but you're back in my good graces. You good old show you.
That's a really weird way to be positioned, is having my fist on my headphone like that. It's really weird. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's just surprisingly comfortable, not gonna lie, but yeah.
Yeah, look at me. I'm Casey. Woo, woo, woo.
Also makes things really loud in the right channel. Anyway, so any final thoughts on this particular episode? As we just barely get towards the closing parts of this arc. We're not there yet, but it's probably another episode.
Yeah, looking at the thumbnail, I'm guessing the next episode is the last of this arc. I'm on Crunchyroll. So, all right.
No,
we'll see you guys
next. Okay, fair enough. So,
yeah, I already gave my thoughts as completely as I possibly could.
Okay, fair play. So, thanks for watching. Episode 10 will be on Friday. I have to keep the schedule in mind. Yeah, so thanks for watching. We'll be back on Friday with that. So bye everybody.
Bye.